What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Scavolitano Show, guys. I know I'm back, and that guy's back, but you don't know that guy. But now you're gonna know him. I had like having a lot of people on my show, the Star Wars talk, because our feelings are about Star Wars. My feelings are Star Wars. We always have to talk about our feelings. That's the most important rule on this show. Our feelings. Our feelings matter on this show. Mine don't, but his do. See, that's what I'm saying. But before we start this awesome Star Wars talks with Will from PadawanPops, please subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, The Scavolitano Show, for more awesomeness. And that's it. And this guy, because you're going to be stuck with me for a lot. Well, yeah, you're just going to see all this. That's all. But Will, how are you, my friend?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm kicking. If that's an answer, I'm like just kicking. Like, yeah.
It's going that good.
Yeah, it's going great. Like sometimes I like to kick myself or kick me off the bed. That's how it goes. just to move me from my position. Like if I'm laying down like a cat nap, gotta kick myself to get up because I'll just.
You can't let yourself get comfortable.
Yes, that's what. So if I sit down, like right now, I'm very comfortable. So if I get up, it's like, damn, like why am I sitting up? Such hecticness. Yeah, that's my life, Will. That's my life.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. I love your account. I think what you do with your pops, like I explained to you like a little before the show. Why you call PadawanPops? Like, are you a Padawan?
Yeah.
Am I your master? You never know. Like, I could be a long lost master.
Well, if you start at Padawan, there's only one way to go, right? It's up. I guess you could get demoted, but there's not much further. You could get demoted, right? But no, I was wanting to start an Instagram, I guess about a year and a half ago. And I wasn't sure of like a, creative Star Wars name. So I was like, well, I do Funko Pops and couldn't really find anything that rhymed with an F that, you could post. So I did Padawan rhymed with Pops and I searched it and there wasn't one of those yet. And so that just kind of happened, I guess.
And then people copy your username. They just put like Padawan and then 5_Pops. I see.
Yeah,
that.
and then they try to steal your giveaways and stuff, right?
Yeah, like the scammers. We know who you are.
Yeah.
We're talking to you people out there. Don't come for me and Will, because we'll come for you.
Yeah.
We'll hit you with a baseball bat and do the peanut butter jelly dance. We got you.
I'll bring a lightsaber.
There you go. And I'll bring peanut butter jelly because we're gonna be hungry after that. I got you.
That's true. Yeah,
I got our hunger needs. But you just collect pops, Will, or you collect the statues as well?
Well, not just Pops. It started off just Pops. That in an ideal world, it would just be Pops, but you know how that goes. So I've got a couple lightsabers. I've got some Lego. If you look like over my head over here, I've got like some of these little Galaxy's Edge trinkets. So pretty much any Star Wars stuff. I've even got some like Hasbro TVC figures over on my I don't know what to do with table. I have one of those for stuff I haven't figured out how to display. So I even have some of those now.
That you can't fit in your room at all. Like my room is very small, so it's very hard for me to fit like things in my room because I'm like, I don't have shelves like if you have to see in the back.
Yeah.
I don't have shelves like that. I wish, because that would take less space. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I don't have so much room. Like I want statues, hot toys. I can't get those because I don't know. I have just too much stuff in my room.
Those hot toys are so cool. Luckily, I'm probably like maybe the cheapest person you've ever spoken to. So like that will keep me from buying any hot toys, but they look so good.
They look so realistic. Like you actually have that person in your room.
It's like the person, yeah.
Yeah, like I wish people made a hot toy of me. People would have me in their room. Just look
best
at
seller.
Yeah, that would. Thank you, Will. I've been saying that for years now. That would be the best seller. Scavolitano in a hot toy with his Ahsoka
flying
gear
off the shelves.
Yeah, I would buy like 8 of them. I'll send you one just for a free giveaway. I just give you for free.
I appreciate it.
See, I got you. But Will, I wanted to ask you, what is? You could say. I could say both. Your top 3 Star Wars characters and why?
Okay. Is Vader Anakin? Is that a 1-2 or is that just all enveloped in one?
I say I don't think of the two as one. I think Anakin separate and Vader separate because they're not. I feel like they're the same person, but they're not the same. If you get
no, that's fair. I've got to go. This is tough. Anakin 1, Vader 2, I would say, and then number 3. it's kind of changing the more stuff we get, like in Star Wars. So Ahsoka could make a strong case. We're getting so much great stuff out of Ahsoka. I love Kanan in
Aw.
Rebels. I mean, I think he's like the epitome of what a Jedi should be. But at the same time, it's hard to go away from Luke Skywalker. So, I mean, at this very moment, I'd probably say Ahsoka, but it could always change.
That's right. Keep it that way. Keep it that way. Yeah, because my favorite characters are Ahsoka, Anakin, and Ezra.
Yeah, Ezra's awesome too.
I love Ezra. And then like I put like a separate case for like Mandalorian, so I put them in a separate like little box. So I like Sabine. Sabine's my favorite Mandalorian.
That's smart to kind of break them up that way.
Yeah,
it is
and then
hard
I have
to choose.
and then my favorite clone is of course Rex. So I have Rex in like the clone stuff.
Yeah.
Sabine and the Mandalorian, and then Jedi's is like separate. Like I don't have a favorite Sith. I don't think.
Oh,
I don't have a favorite Sith.
I do. Which Vader's my second favorite, so.
Yeah. Now, with all this Vader activity, this Vader, like, Funko Pops, the Hasbro toys, do you collect them all? Because there's so much Darth Vader toys. Like, it's insane. Like, they just remake the same ones, I feel like.
Yes. So, right here, I've got, like, a whole thing of Vader Funko Pops.
Oh, I see it. All the black.
So, yeah, there's, like, the Lego is right here. So, that's the helmet. And then I actually don't have that many Vader Funko Pops. They are pretty similar, but they don't release them all the time either. Like with Kenobi, they did a few, so I grabbed those. And then the Return of the Jedi did one, like the Vader without the helmet.
Oh, like in Lane.
Yeah, that was a cool one. But yeah, if there's a Vader pop, I usually grab it.
Oh, okay. Now, what pops do you want to see in 2024? Because we got some already. We got Rex and Krill. We got Sabine. We got Thrawn. I want to see the Kanan one. I want to see another Ezra one, another Hera one, a Zeb one you could throw in there. I want to see a Callus.
That'd be cool.
Who else was in Rebels? Like maybe Lazati, Captain Lazati. Who else would I want? I want a Lothwolf. Like maybe with Lothwolf in there, Lothcat.
That would be interesting to see how they would make that.
Yeah, like because the 10th year anniversary of Rebels is in October, so they should really come out with some. They already came out with a Thrawn one, which is amazing. I love Grand Admiral Thrawn is like my dad. He's just there. He just talks. I just listen. I go, yes, yes. You want me to kill that guy? I will. Yes.
It probably works better if you just listen to Thrawn. So.
Yeah, I think if you don't listen to Thrawn, it's like what are you? Yeah, like what are you even doing with your life? Like you listen to him. But I want to see like Rebels pops. Like I know the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace is upon us, which will be back in theaters in May. For May the 4th. They made a lovely poster today, which is fire.
So cool.
They forgot Jar Jar, but it's okay. We'll get there.
I noticed that too.
They forgot our Jar Jar Binks.
Man, for pops this year though, like Rebels, you got to think they'll do something, right? Like with it being the 10th year, especially with like Ahsoka happening last year, and people kind of know these characters now. You would think they would at least do one or two. Maybe they won't, but it would be nice if they did. 25th
maybe
anniversary.
with a Keenan with the mask on and his lightsaber. And then Ezra with the short hair and his gun, maybe. You can have a lightsaber in one hand and the gun in the other.
We don't have that one yet.
No, we have long hair Ezra and he's like holding it like this. Like that's his stand. Sabine, they came out with two Sabines, unmasked and masks for Rebels back then. And they only came out with one Hera pop. And then, of course, Chopper and Zeb. I think they should come out with like a Callus one. I think Agent Callus should be due for one.
He's cool.
What else can they come out with? Like I said, Lazati. Like maybe the mural, like the Rebels mural.
Yeah.
They can come out with, just have their heads as like bobbleheads,
Like where they all attach together, like how they do those special edition ones sometimes.
Yeah, like
that
get the pieces and let the mural come together. I want more Clone Wars pops too. Like I want an Anakin from Anakin season 7 one, because that's my Anakin right there. I want an Obi-Wan season 7 Clone Wars pop. they came out with a whole line, but they only dropped like Ahsoka, Maul, a few, yeah. So I would want more of those because I think 20 years. How much is Clone Wars? 20.
I was just at the panel the other day. I don't have the paper with me though. It was, I want to say
20, right?
15?
15, yeah, 15. I think it's 15 years.
Because it's 25 Phantom Menace, 15, and then 10. So 15 Clone Wars, 10 maybe. Someone will have to check us on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 15
from this version of the Clone Wars, not like the real cartoon one. You know, that one's like what 2002 or something.
Yeah, not that.
The real one.
The real one like is 15.
Animated.
I think the animation, and then the other one, the 3D one, I think is like 18 years.
Yeah, I remember when it came out. I was in elementary school, so that would like date me a little bit, but it's been a while.
That series was good. I enjoyed it, but I like Clone Wars, like the Clone Wars like now, the one that came out.
It's better.
Yeah, definitely better. Love the action. Me and Will.
But yeah, we got to get some 25th anniversary Phantom Menace pops. I think that's probably like my number one wish list for this year is some of those, and I will probably buy whatever they put out of that.
Oh, really? So what are your expectations? What do you want to see for that 25th anniversary Funko Pop release?
The top of the list would have to be like a new Darth Maul. I think that would be very neat to see. There's not a ton of Darth Maul pops out there. Like there's a good handful, but some of them can get kind of pricey because they were from so long ago.
Yeah.
Anything Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, you know, like Padawan braid Obi-Wan. I think the only one of those we have is the one where it's those pieces that fit together.
Yeah, the set. The dual fate.
A standalone would be good. There are some standalone Qui-Gons, but I'd always take another one of those too.
Yeah, I love Qui-Gon. He's like my grandfather. As long as my father, he's my grandfather. Qui-Gon.
How does that work?
Don't ask. I don't kiss and tell. Well, I don't kiss and tell. I don't tell my past. I don't talk about my past. You know, I don't do that. But yeah, like maybe like a Padme on her little.
Oh yeah.
Her little Queen Naboo thing.
There's not a lot of Padme pops either. There's only a handful of those.
I think they just came out with maybe a clone. I want a Clone Wars one. That would be dope. Clone Wars.
Oh, that would be like an animated Padme. Yeah.
Yeah. What else? A Jar Jar.
Yeah, there's only
a Clone Wars Jar Jar though. They came out with a Clone Wars Jar Jar.
I have a Jar Jar, but I'm not sure what it's from. It's from GameStop, so maybe it is a Clone Wars one because like GameStop always does. If you've noticed, they do like a lot of the Clone Wars stuff. So maybe it's that. I don't know.
Yeah, like I think GameStop comes out with like it came out with an Anakin and Dooku versus Dooku pop. Mm-hmm. You know, yeah. They came out with a Captain Rex and Krell. They did. I think that is the Clone Wars one, Jar Jar. I think it is. Yeah. Because I remember that. And then they came out with a Gar Saxon, Darth Maul. But yeah, with the Phantom Menace, back to the Phantom Menace, I would want to see like maybe a Sidious one, you know, Count Dooku, maybe another Count Dooku Funko Pop.
I do have a Count Dooku now, but it's part of that red saber one, so it's not like standard, you know, it's got that big base on it. So I would prefer a normal one, and I don't have one of those yet. So yeah, that would be cool.
You know what they really missed out on with the Ahsoka versus Maul pop? The fight one, they should have put like a base. I feel like
a special edition, yeah.
Yeah, like they're fighting really on like the Mandalore grounds. You have the background of like stuff like that. I don't like. Yeah. I like what they did. Don't get me wrong. Any Ahsoka pop, you know, I'm there for. But like I wish they missed out on that moment where they could have like really like put a background, a base.
Oh yeah.
They really missed out on that. Funko, I'm coming for you, Funko. Don't worry.
You gotta at Funko on that one. Make sure they know.
Yeah, like they really hit and missed. And then even with the Captain Rex and Crow one, they should have put like umbrella, like the
from trees, the actual scene.
From the actual scene, yeah. Like that, they should have did that. They missed out on that too. I think they'll keep missing with those.
That would be cool if they did start to do that, because for the most part, I mean, I'm just thinking there's the Empire Strikes Back, like with the bounty hunters, and then there's the Phantom Menace that's like Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. There's not too many more that just have like the full, environment around them.
Yeah, or they could do like, I know this is far fetched, but like maybe a poster, and then have
Oh,
all the
that goes with
characters,
it.
and then piece the pieces together, like for the Clone Wars or Rebels or Phantom Menace or Revenge of the Sith. Have those pieces be put together and make the poster.
Yeah, it could almost be like if you can see this here, like that one that's got like the comic book behind it. You
Oh
can kind of
yeah,
see it there. They could do something similar idea where they all just have the poster or something behind it. That would be so awesome.
yeah. I think they should. I think Funko really needs me on board. I really,
I agree.
like. I don't know what to tell them. I'm coming up with so many good ideas. Like,
I don't think they have any fans of Star Wars actually on board, or they would churn out a lot better stuff, probably.
yeah, I think they just was like, okay, we could do this. I'd like that. They should really like ask the fans. Put a poll up. What would you guys like to see? What do you guys want to see in these Funko Pops? I don't think none of like businesses do that. They just like, okay, we announced it. All right, if you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't. We don't get upset. We're not gonna sit here and argue. But I think they should. I think some businesses, some companies should really ask the fans, what do you want to see? What is it? What you guys want to see in the next line of Star Wars Pops? Like we didn't get any Bad Batch Pops for season 2. And I was expecting that. Season 3.
Right, yeah.
Season 3? I hope we get some Pops from season 3.
They'll do an Asajj Ventress pop, probably.
We want one. I would actually buy that one.
A yellow blade Asajj would be so cool.
Yeah, even Cody, like unmasked Cody holding his helmet, and with his C on his head, like. Like they missed out on so many opportunities in the Clone War, Bad Batch for season 2. Like they should have came out. They should have really came out with a bang for season 2. I hope they do for season 3. More pops because that's the final season.
You got to think they will. I didn't even realize till you just said it that they just completely skipped over season 2.
Yeah, they just didn't drop anything. Like they were supposed to come out with a Omega with her bow show, but they never did.
Man.
Yeah, they missed out. Really, they really missed out on season 2. Like they had so many, like a ramp, maybe even a Rampart Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Like you come out with that, Senator Chuchi, like do characters that we don't really like have Funko Pops. We don't have a lot of Clone Trooper Funko Pops. Come out with more, but put the name on the bottom, like Commander Greer, Commander Alpo, or Fireball, or Wreck Gregor, like come out with those. Like we want to see like those kind of Funko Pops because I think as we get further into the Star Wars galaxy, like the clones are obsolete. I love the clones. I think the clones are way better than stormtroopers. I think
easy.
Yeah, I think anybody would love the clone troopers instead of the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the clones, like they just get pushed to the side, like, okay, we're not going to make any Funko Pops. We'll make some Stormtrooper ones, They just came out with, like, from the Ahsoka series, that trooper, the Night Trooper.
Yeah.
Like, what about the Clone Trooper? Yeah, 2 of them about that, But what about the Clone Trooper? We need more merch of Clone Troopers because we don't have that. We don't have...
I was going to say, the Clone Troopers, like, I feel like after this season of the Bad Batch, we're done with Clone Troopers. Like that story is gonna wrap up.
Yeah, and even if I think they'll come out with a new animated show though. I think they'll come out with like a Rex one probably.
Like what Rex is doing between this and Rebels.
Yeah. And like where's everybody else at this point? Like we can't just I know at the end of the season everybody thinks like Vader's gonna come and kill the Bad Batch, choke them, stab them in the heart. Like I don't believe that. I don't think that's not realistic. Like you got to be realistic with the ending of the Bad Batch. Like I really think they'll get Crosshair back. They'll probably retire, but in reality, we saw that the shot of that trooper with the mask. He's on that planet that nice planet where they stay. If you see in the trailer, they had in the back, you could see like they're looking for the Bad Batch, so they're looking on that planet. So I really don't know where they're gonna retire to. That's like where they're gonna stay, or they're gonna join the fight, but be low key about it. I don't know how they're gonna end that because without a Jedi, let's be realistic. The Bad Batch is a force to be reckoned with. No doubt about it. We're not going to sit here and say they're not. They're great clone troopers. The best clone troopers.
Yeah.
But they're not, they can't fight the Empire alone. And I think with Azaz Ventress, they might call on her for help. I think Ventress is not just there. Like, you're not going to bring Ventress back, show her in an episode, and go, bye!
Kill her
and then,
off
like,
again. Yeah.
and shoot her off. You know, I really
think... That's a good point.
You know, I don't think Ventress is there. Like, I don't know if you saw, but the voice of Ventress, Nika, did an interview with, I think, Rule of the Galaxy. I think that's what she did. And one of them asked, like, oh, what are you, like, can you tell us anything? She said, well, for now, I could say this. She said that it's just an appetizer of what you're getting for Ventress and what's to come for Ventress.
That's exciting.
So, you know, I don't think they're just going to show her in one episode and be done. I really think Ventress is going to help the Bad Batch. I really think, because what would she be doing now with her life? You know, what her life, like, with Quinlan Voss is what? And I hope we get Quinlan Voss in Bad Batch Season 3. You know?
She's technically supposed to be dead.
Yeah, like, she's, like, and I love how they put in the when they interviewed the guy, the producer of Bad Batch, oh yeah, we're going to connect the book. You can't connect the book.
I just finished that book. That's going to be a hard one to connect.
Yeah, like, unless Count Dooku somehow comes from the dead and, like, stabs her from behind, like, you can't really, like, you just recon that book. So that book really, like, you guys can read it, but it's like the ending doesn't make any sense, you know?
I wonder if they're going to, like, do some Night Sister magic on her and, like, resurrect her.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're leaning towards, you know, Night Sister magic. You know, that would be good, but I wouldn't like that, because like, Ventress is a cool character. You know, her story is, like, complex. You know, I would love to see where she goes from here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think she's a type of person that might help the Bad Batch.
Oh,
you know, sure. I think the Bad Batch need that. They need a Jedi, you know, to not command them, but to help them fulfill what they want. Like, they want Omega back. They want Omega back. They lost all sights of Omega, you know, and where she's located. But if you have a Jedi that it's been around, Quinlan Voss has been around. We don't know where they've been. You know, we don't know what galaxies they've been to, the planets they've been to, you know? So to do that would make more sense. Like, oh, okay, we'll share some, like a bounty hunter. I help you, and you help me. I'll get you the information. She technically
is a bounty hunter.
Yeah, I'll get you the information, and you get me this. You just give me that. You find out maybe Quinlan Voss needs help. Go help Quinlan, and I'll help you in return of that. Or imagine if Boba Fett is in there. You know, Boba Fett is around in this time. You know, Aura Singh is around in this time. Like, all the bounty hunters are still available, you know? Yep. You could see any of those show up in Bad Batch. You could. We know we're getting Fennec Shan and Cad Bane in it. You know, Wolf we see in there with his colored armor, and then the clone troopers behind him. Like, it's gonna be a good season. I really feel. I love animation. I'm team animation all the way.
Yeah.
Anybody anybody that knows me, I'm like, live action, animation, yes. You know.
There's so many cool stories you could, like, continue through animation too. Like, you can fill in so many gaps without having to have these actors agree to come back. And, like, you can't make Mark Hamill any younger, you know? So, like, we could get Luke Skywalker stories later on. I'm with you there.
Yeah, like, you could tell more in animation, because as the actors get older, you know, we just lost Carl Weathers, you know? Like, that's sad. Now, what about his character? You know, is he going to be in the movie? Is what's going to be mentioned about him? You know, like, that's a problem too. Like the voice actors would do, okay, they could do his voice, you know, but now you get rid of him, and then you got rid of Cara Dune, and then she's suing Disney for a lot more money. I was like, girl, you go, girl.
She is. Hope she wins.
Yeah, I hope she wins too, actually. I really want. I actually like Cara Dune. I had no problem with her character. Even her, like, her Twitter, like, I followed her on Twitter and everything, at the time, and I really didn't see anything really bad about that. You know, I didn't see anything really like, why would you repost that? I really didn't see anything. Like, I don't know what everybody I talked to when I went to Rhode Island Comic Con that time, that just came out. I talked to a lot of co-stars of hers, and they love her. Like, she is the most awesome, working, nicest, kindest. Like, she's just a general soul. So seeing her go through this is like, you know, like God, like Disney, like I feel like Disney wants to be put on a pedestal, and if you don't abide by their rules, okay, no, we're not, you know. And it's like, why? Like, we're not causing you any harm, you know. We're just saying how we feel, you know. If we want to retweet about, just say, the Ukraine that's going on right now, we can, you know. Just like what happened with I don't know if you keep up with the Scream the movies. Their actress, the girl who played in the latest film movies, got let go because of her comments towards something like that. No, so it's like, so it's like, you should have your own opinion about it. If you're doing like bad stuff, saying bad stuff about it, then I get it. Like, okay, like, let's do something about it. But I feel like if you don't say any bad stuff, you tweet your feelings, you retweet about your feelings, you know. Like I said in the beginning of the show, our feelings matter on this show. Our feelings matter, you know.
I saw Gina Carano last weekend, actually, like from a distance at MegaCon. I walked past her booth. She was just sitting there hanging out. Like, I was probably, 15 foot away from her. I didn't do the autograph or nothing, but she just like sitting there hanging out, talking to people. She seems cool.
Oh, wow. How was MegaCon?
Oh, it was so fun. I only did one day. It was my first one. So, like, my wife and I went, and we did the Clone Wars panel. I was so excited to do that, and it was so good. Like,
what did they talk about? Tell me. Did they talk about me? No? All right.
Yeah, they mentioned you a few. No, it was the voice of Anakin, Matt Lanter, I think, and then I forget the Obi-Wan Kenobi guy. He has like three names.
James Arnold.
James Arnold Taylor, and then Ashley Eckstein, and then D. Bradley Baker. So they had a panel, and it was so good. It was mainly a Q&A. Like, people just got to ask questions.
Okay.
It lasted about an hour, so people were asking them like their favorite arcs or their favorite scenes, and so it was just really neat to get to hear all that.
Any videos you have, well, you just send them to me, so I think I was there.
I only have one. I did post it, but I only recorded one thing because I was just so into listening to them.
Yeah, because I hope they do a panel by where I am. Like, I'm in Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope they do like something around ours. Like, I go to Rhode Island Comic Con a lot. I met Ashley there and Matt, but Dean never has been there. James hasn't been there. So I hope they do like a Clone Wars 4. I would spend a lot of money. Like, I would go broke, I feel like. I would go bankrupt.
It's good stuff. My wife, actually, so I kind of joke around. She just went like being nice, going with me, kind of, putting up with it. But then she enjoyed the Clone Wars panel, and she actually, like, we went to the Her Universe booth, Ashley Eckstein's brand, and she spent more money at MegaCon than I did. She was buying, like, Ahsoka stuff and everything, so she's in.
Yeah, she came home, watched Clone Wars while you're while you're doing your thing, and you go, like, what are you watching? I'm watching Clone Wars. I really like it. And you just come back the next day, and your wife is still in the living room watching it. Like, didn't you sleep? No, it's just a good series. Oh my god.
That kind of did happen, but not with Clone Wars, with Rebels. So I was filming my podcast the other day, and I got done and went to bed after, and I go in there and like she's on Rebels episode 4 or something like that, and I'm like, what are you doing with Rebels on? But yeah, she wants to watch Rebels again, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Rebels. I love Rebels. I think, like, back to what we're saying, 10-year anniversary of Rebels. I hope they do something big. But with Rebels, like, no one liked the animation. I loved the animation. It got some time to get used to. It did. Don't get me wrong.
It's a little different than Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah, but now just imagine that animation with the Clone Wars animation, like
it'd be good.
Bad Batch and Bad Batch animation.
That's what Bad Batch, yeah.
It's like they're going like. I feel like it, I don't know if you can agree with me, but with watching the Bad Batch trailer, it was like watching a movie. Like, the animation was just better. It was better than, like, if you watch season 2 and then come back to season 3, it's a whole different, like, animation. Like, they did such a great job. Like, I was watching the trailer, and I watched it once, and I watched it again, and then the third time I realized, like, Oh, they really fixed the animation with this. Like you could see like the even when they wear the helmets, the Bad Batch in the first opening of the trailer,
Mhm.
like it's like wow, that's amazing. Like it's really
Yeah.
good. Like they've really upped it this year.
It's almost like how the cutscenes in Fallen Order are. Like it, you know how those are like the really high def video games. Like this is probably even better than that.
Yeah, like I love the games. I love Cal Kestis is like number 4 probably
Yeah.
on like my favorite characters because I love that Ginger Man. You know, he was at MegaCon.
He was there as well. I didn't see him, but he was there.
Did I wonder if he had a long line? I wonder if he had long lines.
I did see where his like little booth was set up, but he was doing a panel at the time I walked past his booth. So Jedi Knight Lex, she went to his panel because I saw her right after his panel, and she said it was pretty good.
I love Jedi Lex.
She's cool.
She is. She's very cool. But yeah, I want to meet Cameron. I really want to meet him. I think he's an awesome guy to meet. Who I want to meet James again. I never met James. I never met. I met D in New York.
D's cool.
Yeah, he's really cool. I want to meet all of them really. I want to meet TC Carson, the voice of Mace Windu. I missed his opportunity last year. He was around my area.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, because I wanted them to sign like my Clone Wars. I have a movie poster of the Clone Wars, and then I have I don't know if you saw it, but someone posted the Revenge of the Sith, but with Clone Wars animation.
Yes, I have seen that. That's awesome.
I have that poster. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I want everybody to sign it, like Ashley, Matt, Padme, Mace. You know, everybody from the Clone Wars, Bo-Katan. You know, to sign it because they're all Clone Wars people. You know, so I got that, and then I have one, and then I'm giving one away, sneak peek. You know, in a giveaway. When I hit 1,000 followers on my Scavolitano store page, and I sell Star Wars pins, do shirts, and stuff like that. So that will be the awesome giveaway, whatever size they want. You know, that's the poster I printed out for them. They'll probably just send it right to their house because it's easier that way.
Yes.
But yeah, I would want my dream in Star Wars. I think is a Revenge of the Sith animation movie.
That man, if they redid any of the Star Wars in animation, I think that would be great to see.
Yeah, I really think that's a big like dream of mine, or have a dream of an animation movie. You know, I thought they were supposed to come out with those because that was rumored years ago that they would come out with it, and I would love to see like an animation movie like of Ahsoka, of like maybe of like what the clones are doing, like a clone movie, you know, have a clone movie. Not even shows, just have a clone movie, right? Like a Clone Uproar, maybe if the Bad Batch season 3 wasn't in time, you know? Have Clone Wars like Uproar, like a clone
versus the Empire.
Yeah, like it would be so cool. Like
that would be cool.
That's a dream of mine, I feel like, to have a Clone Wars. Like I think the voice actors would be down to do it, absolutely. Matt, James, D, like they love it, you know. And then maybe add Ahsoka in that, you know, instead like the Tales of the Jedi, you see her at Padme's funeral. Add Ahsoka in the funeral, you know. Maybe not have her like walk away from the funeral or something like that, but have her like you just see her, you know, in Padme's funeral, and then cut to Padme giving birth and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know, we got that with awesome. Hello There. We got that with the Hello There productions. Yeah. They made that. Did you see that one?
The Battle of the Heroes, the remake and animated.
The remake,
yeah.
I love it. Like,
just
so imagine that in Bad Batch animation. Like, I would like lose my marbles. I would like probably like die happily now. Like, I would probably like my life would be complete. Like, that's my dream. What is your Star Wars like? The dream that you would have for Star Wars? Like, what would your dream movie, show, character, anything? Your dream thing that you would want to see in Star Wars?
So I think it may actually happen. Is this? I guess we're calling it the Mandoverse, right? That's what we're calling the Mandalorian and all of its little offsprings from there. But when that movie, if it starts a trilogy, whatever's going on, like with the Mando and Grogu movie, all these stories leading up to it, I want to see like one big ending where we have like Luke, Han, Leia, Mando, Ahsoka, like all of these people taking on Thrawn in like this, huge Avenger like battle. Like
Yeah.
well, for sure you're gonna want like more Luke Skywalker, but that's almost like the sequel trilogy that we missed out on. So if they could tell that, that would be so incredible, and I think we may actually be lucky enough to get it.
Yeah, I really think like the Mandoverse movies and the Mando show, the Ahsoka show, even Skeleton Crew, maybe you can throw in there.
Oh yeah,
too.
for sure.
I think it's all going to come together and have a Heir to the Empire movie, like something maybe not like the books or the comics, but something similar in that sense where they're going to come for Thrawn. And hey, I love Thrawn. Thrawn is like one of my favorite. Like even like in that category, like I put him as my top villain. Like Thrawn is like my villain. Like he's the Sith of my like villains because I don't have a favorite Sith.
Right.
I think my favorite Sith would probably be like I like their stories. Like with Sith, I like their stories because how they came up. Like with Azad's Ventress, Maul, Savage Opress. I like all those. Like I don't have a favorite Sith really. I think it would be like Maul or Ventress probably, or maybe even some Sith that is coming out in live action. You never know.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, at some point that I could have a favorite Sith. Like you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think back to what you were saying, I think we're definitely going to get that Mandoverse, Heir to the Empire kind of movie, because I think that's what it's set up for. Because you have Mando, you have Grogu. Like Grogu will be there too, taking on Thrawn. Probably.
He's the money maker.
You're not gonna have a movie like if you're coming together with the Heir of the Empire movie similar to that. You're not gonna have not Grogu in there. Din Grogu. We're gonna have Din Grogu, which I hate.
Din Grogu.
But
it is kind of awkward. I've kind of wiped Mando season 3 out of my mind.
Me too.
I forget that they even did that.
Yeah, like I don't really like season 3. Wasn't my favorite season of Mando. I think that out of the 3, that was the weakest. I feel like, because what you did with Book of Boba Fett, you added season 3 in there. So it's like, what are y'all doing? And like, what are these people doing? And
like it's not as good as what we got in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, like take away Boba because the Book of Boba Fett wasn't really that good. Like if you didn't have Mando in there, yeah, it would have been garbage. Like it was garbage. The Book of Boba Fett, it was, but adding Mando, Luke, Ahsoka, like you just like okay, now the 5th episode, or whatever episode it was, is getting better now. And then the fight with Boba Fett and Mando teaming up, Fennec Shand.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. But then you had like robots, like robot humans. Like we don't want to see that. We don't want that. And then
Power Rangers.
Yeah, the Power Rangers. And then we had Boba Fett really not be a mercenary person.
He's a good guy now.
He's a good guy. Like he's just gonna like drink some coffee and like let Fennec Shand do the work.
Yeah.
And then Cad Bane was in there, which Cad Bane to me, he's not dead. I don't think Cad Bane is dead. I think you really have to cut his head off to be dead. Because he's just got stabbed, and then what happens to him next? The world may never know. So I think the Book of Boba Fett was a huge miss. I don't think they should get a season 2 of Book of Boba. Leave it as it is. Add him in the movies, probably. Yeah, you could put him in like the Mandoverse movies because he is a Mandalorian. And I think what else was a miss was the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I think that was a big miss. I didn't watch season 2. Like when they said hello there, Emperor Magazine, I was
on Instagram, yeah.
I really wished, I crossed my fingers it wasn't season 2 because it didn't hit for me with the Obi-Wan show. Like the fights were good, like the fight with Darth and him at the end was great, but him following Leia around and it was like a Bad Batch kind of sequence with Omega. It was kind of that replayed sequence, like, oh, we have a child, okay, now we have someone to protect her, and then we're gonna fight people to protect her, and it was just getting her back to home. I didn't really like that either. I didn't like the story to it. It felt like it was like a Mando and Grogu situation, like take the kid, like I understand Star Wars is for kids, but take the kid out, have a show of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Tatooine, even with you can have the Inquisitors in there if you really want to, but like have a show of that. You know, we don't want to see a show of him guarding Luke. We don't want to see that. You know, it's replayed already. Like, okay, we want to see some more story to Kenobi. Like maybe like if they did like a Kenobi show with Qui-Gon, you know, how he
Like
became a Force Ghost.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, how Obi-Wan managed to become a Force Ghost, you know, see the training methods come, like, and you have some Tusken Raiders, you have some villains in there. Don't
you got, you know, Jabba's in town, so.
Yeah, like, see him facing Jabba, or, like, him getting into trouble or something like that. Have a show of...
Or even an Inquisitor looking for him, like you said. Like, you can even throw that in, yeah.
An Inquisitor, and that Obi-Wan kills, you know, because, you know, if the Inquisitor gets back, that Obi-Wan survives, that gets back to Vader, and then Vader goes looking for him, blah blah blah, stuff like that. But like, have a show like, let's stop with Mando and Grogu, Omega and Hunter, Boba, and like Boba really didn't have a kid, but like add more stories, add more story without adding robots. You know, add like those were the kids, like those were his kid, like kind of kid like things. You know, stop it. Let's get back to the Boba smashing people over the head with his thing.
Yeah,
you know?
like in Mando, yeah.
Yeah, like have him shoot neat bullets out at people, you know? Have that Mando, you know? Like, stop with, oh, okay, we're going to guard you, you know, we're going to babysit you for a while now.
They do add a lot of that in. Like, I've never thought about it, but that's kind of one of their tropes, it seems like, is...
They do that.
Guarding
like,
the kid, yeah.
If you really sit down and watch all the shows, the only show that really never had it was probably the movies, of course. Of course, the movies are not going to have that. But like the only animation show or live action show that doesn't have that is the Clone Wars. Because you don't have
closest thing to it is Ahsoka, but she's a teenager. Yeah.
Yeah, like the closest thing. Yeah, you're right. Is Ahsoka,
and she's an apprentice, so that's
and different. So it doesn't really count. But like with Keenan and Ezra, you really didn't have that with you didn't get that connection because he took him as a Padawan. So it's really not a kid like. But with Grogu and Mando, Bad Batch with Omega,
Kenobi,
Kenobi with Leia. You could say the same thing with Ahsoka and Sabine. You could say similar situation because
she's
Sabine,
looking after someone.
Yeah, she's looking after somebody. I think that's really much it. The movies really didn't have that. Skeleton Crew is going to be like that. You know,
the whole show is going to be that. Yeah,
the whole show is going to be that. You know, I understand it's for kids. I get it, but have some badassery in it. You know, at least if you want to add the kid, like add Leia, like start shooting guns. You know, like have that. You know, how does she know how to shoot a gun? You know, how does she know how to like be a badass? You know.
Yeah.
But we didn't get that. It was a lot of okay. We're gonna protect Grogu, and then when Grogu went off with Luke, then Grogu came back. Because I really wanted to see what it was like without Grogu in Mando's arms, you know?
Yeah, we did. We got it for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then I'm so sad, you know. And then he went to go find Grogu training with Luke, and then Ahsoka was there. And then, of course, everybody's gonna go, "Oh my God, Ahsoka and Luke! Oh no!" You know. And I liked it, but I didn't like it because what's the story behind that? You know,
it was just eye candy, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like we're just gonna add Ahsoka and Luke together and see how people respond, and people loved it. Of course,
it worked.
You know? It worked. People loved it, but where's that story? Where's Ahsoka's story? Because I know Ahsoka now knows about Leia. Like, how did they meet? How did Ahsoka and Leia meet with that? You know,
that would be so cool to see all of that kind of flesh out on screen.
Yeah, and I feel like even with the movie too, back to the movie, Leia will be in the movie. You know, You can't, like, Thrawn is the biggest threat right now, but there's a bigger threat out there that no one is saying, you know, and I feel like, what are they going to do with that big threat? You know, like, Thrawn is a threat. We know that, but he's not impossible to beat. You know, he's not.
He's already been beat once.
Yeah, he's been beat once by Ezra. You know, he's not. Is he going to fool you? Absolutely. Is he going to trick you? Absolutely. Is he going to find ways to escape from you easily? Absolutely. But Thrawn is not hard to find. Thrawn is not a Force user. He's smart. He uses his brains, and that's what gets them. That's what tricks everybody up. His brain. He's one step. He's like 25 steps ahead of you before you're on your first. And that's what I love about Thrawn. It's like a Sherlock Holmes type of person. And I like that kind of mystery about Thrawn because I read his books. I love Thrawn. I'm always with Thrawn. I feel like with the Ahsoka show, we didn't get that Thrawn. We only got like maybe not even a portion of what Thrawn was in Rebels. So in Rebels Thrawn is better than the Ahsoka Thrawn right now, like to me, because we really didn't get that Thrawn where he's one step ahead of. He's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna take our time here. You know, I don't know who Sabine Wren is. Like, I don't know who Ezra is. Like, oh, screw Ezra. Like, he's out there somewhere. You know, we don't know where he is, but I don't know. Like, it wasn't the Thrawn that we're used to in Rebels, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I pick up what you're saying. Especially, like, if you read Heir to the Empire, the old book, it's not canon anymore.
Yeah, I think I have the book. I don't think I've read that one. I'm on this one. Like, I know it's a comic, but I'm on this.
Oh, you're doing the new one, the new Zahn one. So same idea. Like you said, he's 25 steps ahead, and in Ahsoka, he only like one time, maybe twice, we get that is when he's talking about like look up all of Ahsoka's history or whatever. And then the next time is at the very end where he's explaining like he essentially won the game of chess. Other than that, he's kind of only there for a few minutes.
Yeah, like, long live the Empire.
He's gone, yeah.
And he's gone. Like, we in Rebels, we saw his, like, not his story, but we saw how he, like, thought, his process of thinking, his work, his art. You know, he loved art. Even in the books, he was always one step ahead of everybody in his command. And that's why people really didn't like Thrawn, because it's like, why is this guy so smart? Why, like, what is it about this? Like, what, like, he's just like about warfare. Like, he knows the game. He knows everything. Like, it's insane. Like, he knows, like, even when he's defeated, like, he knows, like, you've defeated me, but watch this, you know.
The
and
next step, yeah.
Just something out of nowhere comes. I would love, also one of my dreams is have an animation show of Thrawn. And have that throughout the books, like all his books in an animation show. You know, you can add a little flair to it. You can add a little something new to it. You know, nothing new, but just don't change it, you know? But add something to it. Like, add an animation show of the Chiss Ascendancy, you know?
Yeah.
Add something like that. Because I know out there, there's only been one Chiss Jedi. That was a long time ago. I don't know if it's even canon. I don't know if it's even Legends or canon. But if you look it up, there has been a Chiss Jedi. Have a story on that, you know, of Chiss being Jedi Force users. Have the Force, you know. Let's see what that's about. Mm-hmm. You know, that's my other dream project too, is to have Thrawn in an animation show, and have him go about how does the Force work? How does this? How is he getting this smart?
Like an origin story, yeah.
Yeah. And then that's why he's the way he is in Rebels. And you see that in Ahsoka. Or even have a show with Ezra and Thrawn. You know, have a comic book little thing.
Like while they're on Peridia.
Yeah, and see what they went through. And then that leads up to how Ezra got found. How Thrawn got his Star Cruiser to work again. You know, it's how his Night Troopers came about, you know. How the Night Sisters came. Like, have an animation show of that. You know, have a book, even a comic book series of that. I would love to see. I love reading about Thrawn. Even about Mace Windu that they just released the comic books. I saw that. Yeah, like, I wasn't a big fan of Mace Windu until I read his books. You know, we always thought, like, he was this dick. Like, he's this, like, Jedi that's, like, all for himself. Like, he always followed the Force, like he always did this. But you read his books, and it's like you understand why he's like that. Like, Shatterpoint is a good explanation of that, you know. And then you get his old comics back in the day, and now you have new ones that I think they arrived today that I'm gonna read, like book 1 of it. But like then you get like, okay, I have sympathy for Mace.
I need to read those because I don't like Mace Windu because of what you said.
Yeah, like if you read his book Shatterpoint, like it's really good. like you'll get him fleshed out, him looking for his master Deba.
Yeah.
You know, like he goes through this whole change, and then you get his comic book series. Of course, you read all of them. I read all of them, and then his another before the Clone Wars started. You know, that's what's coming out now. Like that's amazing. Like to me, Mace Windu made me write a what if about Mace Windu. Like I write like what if Mace Windu survived? You know, I'm on. I think it's part 3. I think is coming out soon, but I have part 1 and part 2 out now on the channel, and it's like you add. Like I read the books and I add some stuff. You know, like now Mace Windu is telling the story of how he survives to people now.
Oh yeah.
To like on a planet, New Corral. You know, that's what we have. That was a planet that he was on when like he went to go look for Deba, and Deba was be taken over by whatever was on the planet, like the evilness that was on the planet. You know, he was facing his demons, because I think that's where he's from, Mace Windu, Naru Corral. I think if I'm saying that right, I think that's the name of it. I'm not too sure. I have to look that up, but I think it's Haru Hakar. I think that's what the name of it is. Don't quote me on that. It's similar to that. You'll understand when you read the book.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, if you read the book, I think that's where his home planet is.
Yeah.
And to see him go back to it and then look at the evilness coming out, or looking how he connects to people, or it's a good, I really like that's why now I'm a fan of Mace Windu. Not the movie Mace Windu, because there's no story with that. But the Clone Wars...
He's kind of a jerk in the movies.
Yeah, in the Clone Wars show, you get how he helped people. You get that story. Like, even in Rebels, you got the story where Chim Syndulla was like, Mace Windu marched like one on like hundreds, you know, and he defeated, like he was there, you know, like more like heroic stories, not like the stories we're gonna get like, oh, if I ask someone, oh, Mace Windu was a dick, you know, he didn't really care, like what you just said, like, oh, I'm not a fan of Mace Windu because of how he was, but now if you get the books, also Tales of the Jedi now too, like you have a little piece of his story, you understand what happened, you know, why he became this how can I put it, like this
kind of a hardened guy,
like you understand that, you know, we get that in the movie and the shows and then the books, and now also you're going to get more of it in the comic, and I can't wait to read the comic book 1 of 4. I think it's
those covers look great too.
They do. I love it, and that's why I really want to meet T.C. Carson, the voice of Mace Windu, because what he brought to that character is amazing. Like Samuel Jackson's good too, but I think TC really did the research. He sounds just like Mace Windu, you know, and I think he did a great job, TC Carson. Mace Windu. And I would love to meet TC. I would love to get it tattooed, you know. I want to get a lot of tattoos too. I do. Of Star Wars, like people, like just autographing my arm.
Get a sleeve.
Get a sleeve of every autographed person and a picture of them.
They would remember you if you did that.
I know. I would be like, when they die, they'll be like, Scafolitano. He was big. And then just R.I.P. You know, just like just goes right back. But yeah, that's one of my dreams too, is to get like my favorite like characters' signatures and their character name, and then a picture. But I'm very small. I'm a very small guy, so it's like, where can I fit all this? Like, where?
You gotta be selective.
Yeah, like I want like Ashley to sign, Matt, Anakin, Rex, like my favorite clone, get a portrait. Like maybe get a portrait and have them all sign the picture on my arm or my leg or whatever. And then I would get Sabine and Ezra in a portrait, and then have Tia the voice of Sabine, and Taylor the voice of Ezra. And then maybe even add T.C. Carson on there and get like a Mace Windu small portrait.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I need money. I don't have money, so I think that's out of the option right now.
Tattoos are expensive. That's true.
They are, and plus, like with their signature and their like in the portrait, you know, you're looking at a big gap of money. Yeah, big cut. But yeah, I think that's what we really need to see, like fleshed out animation shows. Like I'm team animation. I'll always say that. I'm always biased, so don't ask me. Like have that. Even have a Mace Windu show, animation show. You know, of how he. Through the books, you know, even like a Mace Windu surviving that fall, you know, have that start out. Yeah, have that start out in animation, you know, bring it to the table. And like then Samuel Jackson could show up eventually. But as of right now, you can't bring Samuel Jackson back because then you're going to have to deface him. Like put another face on him to make him younger.
He's like almost 80.
Yeah. Really? How old is Samuel Jackson?
He's in his 70s for sure. He may be even further up there.
Yeah, like have him come in later, like a later part of the series, but have animation start it off, kick it off. How did he fall from that? And then you'll get part of Revenge of the Sith in that, you know. And then Mace Windu, like I just said, Mace in my what if Mace Windu was telling the story to people. He's telling his journey to surviving and getting in tune with the Force with younglings. Like he's training his own younglings, you know, on this on this planet. He's telling them that. And then you have flashbacks of all what he went through, all the ups and downs, his arm getting lost, his eye, like he has to put in like a cyberborg like eye.
Yeah.
Like have that, you know, that's what we want to see. I would love that. I would sit and watch that over and over again.
Oh, I'd
because
watch
it's
it
like,
for sure.
Yeah, it's such new story. Like how did he survive that fall? How did he escape Coruscant? How did he like announced that he was dead? He didn't have his lightsaber, so what did he use to protect himself in front of foes in the planets? Because now Mace Windu, everybody knew Mace Windu, what he looked like. You know, it's not like it's not rocket science. You know, and he was pronounced dead, but he faked his death. Like how go around that? Have an 8 or a 10 or do what they're doing with Bad Batch, a 15 episode, 1 season only of how Mace Windu survived everything, and then at the end, throw in where he is now. Where is Mace Windu telling the stories to younglings? Because I don't know how old Mace Windu was. He had to be in his 30s, probably, right?
Yeah, 30s or 40s for sure, yeah.
And then 20 years, he'll be 60 around Mandalorian-wise, almost 70.
Yeah, roundabouts, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like with Star Wars, they'll keep bringing... Like, Bo-Katan doesn't look her age, you know? Ahsoka doesn't look her age either, you know? But Mace Windu would look that age, actually. He would look 60 or 70 because that's what Samuel L. Jackson...
That's true, yes.
And that's when T.C. Carson is that age of, as well as what we're speaking now. He'll be he's in his 70s, T.C. Carson, and also Samuel Jackson. But I really think they should really do a show just like that. Mace Windu Returns, you know, do it and have that. I really think people will go nuts for that. I think people want that. I would love it. And then you see how Mace Windu's attitude has changed. You know, he's not this dick of a person that everybody made him out to be. Look what he's been through, and then tell his story of why he became that hardened Jedi Master that he learned from Deba, you know, because Deba trained Mace Windu, and then Deba trained Keenan. Caleb Doom took on a new apprentice. Yep. You know, have that story. Like, what was Mace Windu's? Like, that's what I'm telling him. I would have like how he felt with Caleb as Deba's new apprentice. You know, how he supported her when she became a Jedi Knight or Jedi Master. You know, have all that. That is such. I'm like. Me and Will's like, yeah, Chris, keep going. Like, I want to.
That would be that really would be interesting because he's like a big character with very little on-screen development outside of just a few, you know, a few, you know, you got the Clone Wars, but like, in as far as the movies goes, he's not in the movies a whole lot.
Yeah, you see him. Do you see him in one? I don't know if you see him.
You do, just he's got like a few lines. Remember, he's like, they can't take Anakin, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And then he's at the funeral.
Yeah. And then 2, you get him in there, and then 3, of course, you get him. But there's no, like, story-wise with Mace. Like, you don't really get it. But you get it in the Clone Wars a little, him saving people, him fighting for the people. And then you get the books, which I'm telling you, Will, read the books.
I actually am going to have to do that. I do, like, Libby, you know, the library app. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
You get it's free. So the Mace Windu audiobook is on there. So I need to rent that and just listen to it.
Yeah, and I love doing Audible because...
Oh, yeah.
I love that because I would not sit there, like with Thrawn's books, the voice of Thrawn is in it. You know, and they have voices of every character. Like, even if it's the same kind of person doing all the voices, they have that. Even
I hate reading, too. So listening is a lot easier for me.
Yeah, like listening to it, like even having the book there, listening to it too, and it's just amazing. Like with the Mace Windu, like they don't have T.C. Carson's voice or Samuel Jackson, but they have a guy that has a similar.
It does good, yeah.
that does good. That you could
Yeah.
tell that okay, this is Mace Windu's book. You know, even with the Ashley book, the Ahsoka book, like Ashley voices, the Padme books. I read all of Padme's books to understand Padme's story. You know, because I'm writing a what if about what if Padme survived. You know, what would her life be if she did survive that? You know, so you got to understand the character to write everything, and it's a great process. It really is. Will's like, yeah, I'm after this live right now. I'm really gonna go.
I've got a lot of reading and thinking to do.
Definitely, I made you think on this show, Will. You're welcome.
You did.
You're welcome.
Can you see my dog just like wanting out of this room? Do you see like right?
No.
Wait.
He's like, I don't want to hear talk no more. Like, this guy talks way too much. I'm done.
She's been asleep.
I'm taking a nap after this one. I'm going right to sleep. I'll be joining your dog just in his little bed and just curled up somewhere. But before we go, Will, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for talking Star Wars with me. I would love to always have you back on the show. Always come back.
You let me know.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. I'll slide into those DMs. You know, I will. Don't worry. Yep, just go right in. Where can everybody find you on the social medias before we go?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Padawan_Pops or YouTube at PadawanPops. Instagram is more collections based, but then YouTube kind of has it all. Collection, I go on toy hunts, stuff like that, but also we talk about what's going on in Star Wars. So it's a little bit of everything, probably pretty similar to how yours is as well.
Yeah, I do everything.
Yep.
I even have a cooking show, Chopper Treats, you know. Yeah, I started chefing it up. Boyardee.
I'm going to be looking at that next because I am a fan of cooking, so I have to look at that.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing like cooking videos for the channel and everything. I just have to get like the right supplies and stuff like that. I have to start. But yeah, so the cooking show, cool. Episode 1 out for the cooking show, Chopper Treats. You know, are out now. So yeah. Look at Will. Will's like, I'm
now very interested. Yeah.
I'm very interested in making these.
Yes.
They're hard to make because it's so like my mom helped me, so my mom go through the way because I can't cook for my life. I'll probably burn the house down. But I'll put everything in the bio, guys, when this episode is aired to see to go check out Will's work and his Instagram, his YouTube, everything. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Will, PadawanPops, for joining me today for Star Wars Talk on the Scavolitano Show. Be kind to one another. Make sure you guys subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, the Scavolitano Show, for more of me, all this guy on your screen. Yep, thank you. Be kind to one another, guys, and may the Force be with you, my friends. Always. Bye!
In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what.